Have you ever found yourself wondering why some people stay in your heart and mind for a long time, even after you have only spent a little bit of time with them? It is a very interesting thing to think about, isn't it? There is a very deep and special reason why certain men remain in a woman's thoughts for days, weeks, or even months after they first meet. And I want to tell you a little secret right now. It has almost nothing to do with the car you drive, the fancy clothes you wear, or how much money you have tucked away in your bank account. Those things are what we call surface level things. They are like the bright, shiny wrapping paper on a birthday gift. Sure, that paper might catch someone's eye for a fleeting second, but it does not leave a deep or lasting mark on their soul. It doesn't create a real feeling. The truth is, looks and status might get you noticed in a crowded room, but they cannot create a truly meaningful emotional impression. Only a very small group of men really understand how to do this well. They understand that when you give a woman a warm emotional feeling to hold on to, you become someone she simply cannot forget. You start living in her mind in a very sweet way, and she finds herself what women really find attractive thinking about you when she is going about her day. Today, I want to share this secret with you so you can use it in your own life. I want to help you see how much more beautiful and relaxed your dates can feel when you stop trying to be a certain way and just start being who you are. Before we dive into the details, I want to mention that I have put together a special collection of helpful guides and kindly created tools that you can look at whenever you need a little extra support. These are designed to help you feel better and more confident from the inside out, focusing on the person you are becoming. Now, let's talk about why we sometimes get stuck when it comes to meeting someone new and feeling that spark of attraction. Many men feel like they have to put on a big show. They feel like they have to practice every single word they say, plan every movement, and act like they are on a stage performing a play for an audience. They try so hard to say all the right things because they are deeply afraid of making a single mistake. They want every part of the date to be perfect, like a movie scene. But here is the problem with that. When a date feels like a rehearsal, it feels fake. It feels like there is no room for real life to happen. When you act this way, a woman can feel it in her heart. She can sense that you are not being your true, honest, and messy self. It makes her feel a little bit uneasy. Even if she cannot quite put her finger on why, she might start asking herself, why do I feel like I have to be perfect too? Why does it feel like I cannot just be myself around this guy? This happens because your energy is focused on performing rather than truly connecting with her. Instead of bringing the two of you closer together, this perfect image you are trying to show actually builds a tall wall between you. It creates a distance that is hard to cross. The biggest mistake. Most men make all know human beings are far from perfect. We all have little quirks, funny habits, and moments where we stumble. When you try to show only a perfect version of yourself, you are not leaving any room for real, honest attraction to grow. You are accidentally closing the door on the very thing you want most. This is why many men end up feeling confused. They wonder why she didn't send a message back or why the spark just wasn't there. It is often because she sensed that your confidence was just something you practiced in a mirror rather than something that came from a place of peace inside your heart. The very second a woman feels like you are just trying to impress her, the whole feeling of the interaction changes. It shifts the balance in a way that doesn't feel good. She can feel that you are looking for her to tell you that you are good enough. This is what happens when we chase approval. It usually makes people want to take a step back because it feels like a lot of pressure. A very wise author named Robert Greene wrote about this in a book called The Art of Seduction. He explains that the people who are the most attractive are never the ones begging for someone else to like them. Clears throat. Instead, They focus on something called emotional gravity. Think about gravity for a moment. It is the gentle, invisible force that keeps our feet on the ground and the moon circling the earth. You cannot force gravity to happen. It is just a natural, deep pull that exists. Men who have this kind of gravity carry a quiet confidence. They do not have to shout. They do not have to brag, and they do not have to show off. They are what we call grounded, which means they are steady, calm, and comfortable in their own skin. Their confidence comes from being their authentic selves. It comes from knowing that they have value just as they are without needing any bells or whistles. They know that there is no other man in the entire world exactly like them. And that is a very powerful thing to realize. When you have this outlook, it is very rewarding. You are allowing the rare skill explained woman to connect with the real you, the person inside, not just your job title or the things you own. You don't act like your car or your house is more important than the man you are today. Being a man who can smile at his own mistakes and embrace his humanness is incredibly attractive. This kind of energy is something a woman naturally wants to be near. You could be the most handsome man on the planet, but if there is no story or heart underneath, it doesn't mean very much. Being good looking is like a nice cover on a book, but if the pages are blank, no one will want to keep reading. You need what we call substance. Think of substance as the warmth inside a home or the kindness in a person's eyes. It is the inner stuff that makes you who you are. Because women are often very in tune with their feelings. They need that substance to feel truly interested. They need to feel something in their heart to want to see you again. Your physical appearance is just one small part of the story. If you only focus on how you look and forget to nurture your heart and your mind, you won't be a balanced person. When you are balanced, you have a special kind of power that makes a woman feel like she can truly relax and be herself around you. There is a very beautiful idea called the art of allowing. This means you are a man who lets attraction happen naturally, like a flower blooming, rather than trying to force it to happen. Trying to force someone to like you is one of the fastest ways to make them leave. It is like trying to catch a butterfly by grabbing it too hard with your hands. You might end up hurting it or scaring it away forever. A truly confident man knows that he cannot control what another person thinks or feels. He goes into every conversation thinking, "This is a wonderful chance for me to learn something new." He sees value in every person he talks to, no matter what happens next. He uses that time to learn about himself and to practice being a kind and clear communicator. He stops chasing validation and starts simply enjoying the moment he is in. One of the most attractive qualities a person can have is being genuine. When you are real, why women instantly notice it and honest about who you are giving the other person a very special gift. You are giving them permission to be real too. You are making them feel safe. In our world today, so many people feel like they aren't good enough just as they are. They feel like they have to wear a mask to be liked. When you show up with your quiet confidence and your true, honest self, it is like a breath of fresh air. It allows her to let her own guard down. She doesn't feel like she has to be a perfect person around you because she sees that you are comfortable with your own little flaws and quirks. This makes you deeply attractive because, to be honest, she has probably never met anyone quite like you before. There is only one you, and that is your greatest strength. I want to encourage you to start feeling okay with being a little bit uncomfortable. It might feel a bit scary to show your real self at first. You might worry that you aren't perfect enough, but trust me, being your genuine self builds a type of attraction that is raw, real, and very strong. It is a bond that cannot be faked or forced. It is the kind of connection that truly lasts. When you stop performing and start just being, you become unforgettable. You become the man who stays in her mind because you offered her something no one else could. A real, kind, and human connection. Let me share something else with you that many men don't realize. When you walk into a room or a conversation with the mindset that you need to prove yourself, you are already starting from a place of lack. You are telling yourself that you are not enough just as you are. This energy radiates outward and other people can sense it. Women especially can pick up on this because they are usually very emotionally intelligent. They can tell when a man is trying too hard or when he is putting on an act. And when they sense this, it doesn't make them feel how attraction deepens over time drawn to you. Instead, it makes them feel a bit sad or even exhausted because they know that if you cannot be real with them now, you probably never will be. On the other hand, when you walk into that same room or conversation knowing that you have something valuable to offer simply by being yourself, everything changes. You are not there to beg or plead for anyone's attention. You are there to share your time, your thoughts, your laughter, and your presence. You are there because you enjoy connecting with people and learning about their stories. This shift in mindset is incredibly powerful. It takes the pressure off both of you. She doesn't feel like she has to decide right away whether you are good enough, and you don't feel like you have to perform a perfect routine. Instead, you both get to just be two human beings enjoying a moment together. This is what we mean when we talk about being present. Being present means you are not stuck in your head worrying about what she thinks of you or whether you said the right thing 5 minutes ago. You are not planning out your next 3 sentences while she is still talking. You are right there with her, listening to her words, noticing the light in her eyes, and responding from a genuine place. This kind of presence is magnetic. It makes people feel seen and heard. And that is one of the greatest gifts you can give another person. When someone feels truly seen and heard by you, they will remember you. They will think about that conversation later and smile. They will wonder when they might see you again. Now, I know that some of you might be thinking, but what if I am not interesting enough? What if I don't have exciting stories to tell or impressive accomplishments to share? Let me tell you something important. You do not need to be the most interesting person in the world to be memorable. You just need to be interested. When you signs you lack this skill, show genuine curiosity about another person, when you ask thoughtful questions and really listen to the answers, you become someone special to them. People love to talk about themselves, their passions, their dreams, and their experiences. When you give them the space to do that without trying to one-up them or steer the conversation back to yourself, you are showing them respect and kindness. You are showing them that you value who they are. This does not mean you should never talk about yourself. Of course, you should share your own stories and thoughts. But the key is to share them authentically without trying to impress or show off. Share them because they are part of who you are, not because you think they will make you look good. When you share a story about a time you failed or felt embarrassed, you are being vulnerable. And vulnerability is incredibly attractive. It shows strength, not weakness. It shows that you are secure enough in yourself to admit that you are not perfect and that you are still learning and growing just like everyone else. There is also something very important to understand about the way women experience attraction. For most women, attraction is not an instant visual thing the way it often is for men. Yes, physical appearance can play a role, but it is usually just the starting point. What really builds attraction for a woman is the way you make her feel over time. It is the way you listen to her, the way you laugh at her jokes, the way you remember the little things she tells you, the way you make her feel safe and valued. These are the things that create how to develop it. Fast, a deep, lasting attraction. These are the things that make her think about you when you are not around. This is why trying to rely only on your looks or your money or your status is such a shallow strategy. Those things might get her attention for a moment, but they will not keep it. They will not make her feel anything real. And without that real feeling, there is no foundation for anything meaningful to grow. So instead of focusing on all those external things, focus on becoming the kind of man who is comfortable in his own skin. Focus on developing your character, your kindness, your sense of humor, your ability to listen and communicate. These are the things that will make you truly attractive, not just to one woman, but to many people in all areas of your life. Another important thing to remember is that confidence is not about being loud or dominating a conversation. Real confidence is quiet. It is calm. It does not need to prove anything to anyone. A confident man can sit in silence without feeling awkward. He can admit when he doesn't know something without feeling ashamed. He can laugh at himself without worrying that others will think less of him. This kind of confidence comes from self-acceptance. It comes from doing the inner work to understand who you are, what you value, and what you want out of life. When you have that clarity, you stop seeking validation from others because you already know your own worth. I also want to talk about the importance of having a life outside of dating and relationships. One of the most attractive things about a person is when they have their own passions, hobbies, and goals. When you have things that excite you and give your life meaning, the high-value male mindset, you bring that energy into your interactions with others. You have interesting things to talk about. You have a sense of purpose. You are not looking for another person to complete you or make your life worth living. You are already living a full, rich life. And you are simply looking for someone who might want to share in that journey with you. This is a very different energy than the man who is desperately searching for a relationship because he feels empty or lonely without one. When you have your own life, your own friends, your own interests, you also avoid becoming too focused on any one person too quickly. You avoid putting someone on a pedestal or becoming obsessed with whether or not they like you. You have other things going on, other sources of joy and fulfillment. So you can approach dating with a relaxed, open attitude. You can enjoy getting to know someone without putting all your emotional eggs in one basket. This is healthy and it is attractive. It shows that you are a complete person on your own, not someone who needs another person to feel whole. Thank you for listening to these thoughts. If you found this helpful, I would love for you to let me know, and I hope to talk with you again very soon. Remember, the most powerful thing you can do is to stop trying to be someone you think others want you to be and start embracing who you truly are. That is where real connection begins, and that is what makes you unforgettable.